Chicago, like most big cities, has its fair share of unsolved crime. And in most of these cases, somebody saw or heard something. Somebody may have seen a suspicious person, a car driving away from the scene, or simply overheard somebody talking about the case. With your help, we can put these criminals behind bars where they belong. Here in Chicago, we have too many unsolved murders. We need your help. In these cases, the police department is only as strong as the citizens that get involved. Oftentimes, all the detectives need is a tip, a start. Somebody to call in and say, I saw something. Any little information that you know can be the impetus to solve the entire case. On tonight's episode, we'll take a look at the case of Yolanda Ballard. On Thursday, November 25th, 2004, Yolanda Ballard, a fun-loving person who would do anything for anybody, was in town visiting her family for Thanksgiving. When she didn't show up for the Thanksgiving dinner, her family began to worry. 2 days later, the police found her body in an alley in Maywood, Illinois. Here's her story.
Yolanda Janine, we called her Janine, and she was just the best. She was a bubbly, happy baby girl. She was like a sunshine. She'd always brighten up a room.
Growing up with my sister was like, she was my everything. She carried me everywhere, she dressed me, she bought my clothes. She was like my safe haven. Anything went wrong, I went to my sister. Anything I needed, I went to my sister. We were like two peas in a pod.
My mother, she was great, man. She did any and everything for us. We needed to be somewhere, do something. She made sure that we was there and everything was good with us and taught us a lot of manners and mannerism and things of that nature, man. And she taught us a lot.
We did pretty much everything together. Everything was about the family. So there was always dinners at different houses. We always going to parks and having picnics.
My sister always took me on the family outings to like the zoo or, Great America, different things like that.
She was the most kind-hearted person I ever met. She used to take people in all the time off the street if they was hungry and feed them. If they looked bad, let them shower and clean them up. My friends come over, she feed everybody. Same with my sisters or anybody else.
You just maybe stopping by to say hi or just stop by to see how she's doing, and she's already got stuff on the stove. Come on to eat. Everybody had to eat. If you came into her house, you're gonna eat.
She just was given like that, She just really had a kind heart. She would do for anybody. I can remember times she'd give us money, me and my friends. I come in the house for $5, $10. She give the whole crew of us $10. You know what I mean? That's just how she was. She just give it to anybody, man. If she had it, she'd give it away.
Yolanda was the kind of person that I'm literally telling you, I would see her, I'm saying, wow, that is a beautiful necklace you got on. Oh, okay, you can have it. And she'd take it off her neck and give it to me. A pair of shoes, she did that to me with some shoes. Oh, I like those shoes, girl, you're looking good. I'm just complimenting her. I'm just letting her know she looks good in those shoes. Oh, they're yours. You can have them. Like, how are you gonna get me the shoes off your feet? What are you gonna wear? Oh, I'll find something else to put on around here. I'll find something else to put on. You can have them.
My mother, she was a lively woman. She was always the life of the party, always commanded the center of attention. She was having a good time. She wanted life to be fun and good, That's why it was such a blow to us that somebody would do something like that to her because she didn't deserve that, you know what I mean? She was too good to people.
In November 2004, Yolanda Ballard came into town in Bellwood, Illinois to visit her family for the holidays.
Her friends were calling, they were looking for her. She wanted for her to go out and go over their houses and different things like that, and she wouldn't go.
After a few days, one of her friends did come over and the two left together.
She called me back about an hour later and she told me, hey, I'm okay. I stopped at another friend's house and I'll be back later.
She didn't come home that night. Her family was a little concerned. Yolanda was good about checking in.
I never heard from my sister again, which was odd.
Several days went by and they still hadn't heard from her, so the family actually celebrated Thanksgiving dinner without Yolanda.
We knew in the back of our mind something's not right.
Everybody seemed to be grief-stricken because they never thought that she would not be at Thanksgiving that year.
When we stood to have our family prayer, we prayed basically that she would be all right, not knowing that she was probably deceased when we were praying.
The day after Thanksgiving, Maywood police showed up at Yolanda's family's house.
I knew then something was wrong. My heart just started to fall. I was like, what is it? What's wrong? My mom was like, she's dead, isn't she?
The police said they found her in an alley in Maywood.
I called my pastor and it didn't dawn on me what I was saying until I said it, that she had been murdered.
That day, probably the worst day of my life.
Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case. In November 2004, Yolanda Ballard came into town in Bellwood, Illinois to visit her family for the holidays. Her friends would call and ask to get together and she just wasn't feeling up to it. After a few days, one of her friends did come over and the two left together. She didn't come home that night. Her family was a little concerned. Yolanda was good about checking in. Several days went by and they still hadn't heard from her, so the family actually celebrated Thanksgiving dinner without Yolanda. The day after Thanksgiving, Maywood police showed up at Yolanda's family's house and told the family that Yolanda's body had been found in Maywood. There was a woman walking her dog. She was walking down an alley past an abandoned garage and she saw a clump of leaves. It kind of caught her eye. Something seemed a little bit odd. And as she looked closer, she saw that there was actually a body under these leaves, and she called the police. Maywood police responded and found an unidentified female that turned out to be Yolanda Ballard, who had been raped and strangled.
It's horrible to have to go identify the body of your sister that looks disfigured, that looks that horrific.
There was just an outburst of crying and tears, and everybody had to try to hold each other and console each other because we just couldn't believe that was our Janine.
The Maywood police believe that there may actually be two crime scenes in this case. They believe that Yolanda may have been murdered somewhere else, maybe perhaps in Bellwood or near where her family lived, but then her body was dumped in this remote location in Maywood. And she probably would have never been found, at least not for a long time, had this person walking their dog not noticed her in the alley under these leaves.
You think about her every day, you think about them every day, but the holidays, it hurts the worst. We come from a big family, so we still, have our holidays and the big family gatherings, but she not there.
It's hard on her children to come and sit at a family function and everyone's there but their mom, It's hard for her grandkids to hear all these stories about her, never getting to meet her, or those that did meet her, they have to now remember a memory.
The police really have no information to go on. They tried to figure out where Yolanda had been, who she had been with. They tried to backtrack her steps and really had very little to go on. So this is a tough one. This is a tough case to crack, and we really need the community's help.
This happened in 2004. It's been a long time, and if you know something, you know what type of woman she was. You know what I'm saying? You knew how kind she was. You knew how loyal she was.
She was happy, she was good, she was kind, she loved being alive. I know she didn't want to go out like she went out. So I know if there's somebody that knows her or knows something about what happened, I would say come forth.
You can be anonymous with it, however you gotta do it. Just anything, to help us catch this person, because as kind as she was, that they don't care about life, that they probably done it again, probably did it to another beautiful woman. somebody else's mama. So if you know something, please just let somebody know.
Call the Chicago police, call the Maywood police, call the Bellwood police, call one of the relatives, call somebody and say, I need to tell you guys this. I need to say something about Yolanda Janine's death.
The police speculate that Yolanda was killed in another location and that her body was later transported and dumped in this remote location in Maywood, Illinois. So we're actually looking for anybody in both communities that may have seen something or heard something. Anybody in Bellwood may have seen something suspicious, heard something in the neighborhood, or people in Maywood who may have seen something suspicious or heard something about what may have happened to Yolanda Ballard. If you have any information, you can call the Maywood Police Department at 708-450-4450, or you can also call Cook County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-535-STOP. We need to bring justice to Yolanda Ballard and her family.
Allow us to have some type of peace with the situation. This person does not deserve to be free and roam about this city or the world, and we have to suffer not knowing what happened to her.
The cases you just watched remain unsolved, and we need your help. If you have any information on tonight's episode or any other cases, please give our detectives a call. We need our communities to come together so we can take back our streets and make our neighborhoods a safer place.